what we do, we say, well, hey, they're young, we had our music in our day, but never a music so damaging as hip-hop music is. Hip-hop music that tells these young ladies that the only thing they're good for is a pole dance. Hip-hop that tells these young ladies the only thing they're good to be is strippers. Hip-hop that tells our young men that the only thing they're good to do is sell weed and be hustlers and stand on the corner. We have to be willing to tell our young people, our children, the truth, that evil communications corrupt good manners. There ain't nowhere in the world that you can sit there and listen to hip-hop all day long, sit there and listen to cussing and killing and mugging and thugging all day long, and it not affect your character. So you sit in church and you wonder why you just can't pay attention in service. You sit in church wondering why you're going off into this other song that you ain't even thought about. You sit in church wondering why you're thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking about. It's because evil communication has corrupted what your bishop has taught you, what your pastor, what your parents have taught you. That's true. It's true. You can't do what T.I. and Bobby Valentino and R. Kelly do. You can't be a flirt. Like R. Kelly. You can't see a lot of what our church you want to do. They want to be like Pastor Troy. Pastor Troy, you would think, well, who's Pastor Troy? He must be making a difference with young people. No, Pastor Troy is a hip-hop rap artist. And Pastor Troy, his music has everything that a DMX, a Jay-Z, and all these other ones, but his name, his stage name is Pastor Troy. And if you look at Pastor Troy's bio on his website, it says, in one breath he addresses religion and gives credence to religion, and in the same breath he embraces the streets and the life of a hustler. Now how? It says he gives them both the same reverence. Now you can't reverence God and reverence the life of a hustler. My Bible still says, come out from among them and be ye separate. My Bible still says, how can light walk with darkness? My Bible still says, how can two walk together except they be agreed? My Bible still says, you can't serve two masters. Joshua said, if either you're going to serve God or serve the gods on the other side of the flood. But choose you this day, Pastor Troy, who you're going to serve. You need to go, Pastor Troy is a pastor's son that end up getting in the sin and backsliding. You need to go back, Pastor Troy, to serve the God of your father. Because this God you come up with in your imagination does not exist. Pastor Troy needs to hear truth. We need to tell our young men the truth about crime. We need to tell them the truth. See, those Duke boys, see, they got off. And I know sometimes, we feel like, well, I can do what I'm going to do and I'm going to get off. But most of us are not in the same, don't have the same circumstances as those boys from Duke that got off for not raping or whatever happened in the room that night, that girl, that stripper. But see, the thing is, most of us don't have those Duke boys' money. So if they were going to run them to jail for something they didn't do, what will they do to you, young black boy, of things that you do? When you go to the store and you decide, I'm going to take my shoes off and put the shoes in Twitter and put the new shoes on and put the old shoes in the box, and you don't know that the camera's on you and see you stealing. When you decide that you're going to hang out with your boys and you're just going to throw a rock through this window. When you decide that you're just going to be in a gang just for a few days just to have something to do. You have to realize that once you get a record, there is no chance in Hades that somebody, when you get out of college, that somebody's going to give you a job or let you keep it. Because they're going to go down, they're going to ask you one question. Have you ever been convicted of a crime other than a traffic violation? So when you put up there on your application, well, I did get caught selling a little weed, smoking a little weed. That job that you had making $50,000 a year entry level that you prayed that God would give you. They just might let you go. And see, the thing about your track record is that once you mess up, young black boy, people peg you for being a troublemaker. So once you get suspended for fighting, or suspended for some foolishness, trying to do something you're not supposed to do in the bathroom, when something goes down and you ain't have nothing to do with it, you still did it, whether you did it or not, because your track record says that you're a troublemaker. We need to tell our young people the truth about academics. We can't make them feel good with mediocrity. One, because every other race is already passing us. We are no young man, you are young girl, you are no longer the largest minority in this country. You're no longer the most thriving minority in this country. Because God bless the Hispanics, they want to be a part of the American dream, but they're coming and stealing it away from those that have been here for 300-400 years. So you don't have room for academic failure. You don't have room to be making C's when you could be making A's. Because see, what you don't realize is there's this little thing called GPA. See, GPA is like credit. See, I don't care what you say, you can go to that limit, you can talk the whole in their head. But they're going to pull this thing called your credit report. Your credit report tells the truth about what you really been doing with your money. And see, your GPA, I don't care what kind of clubs you in, what you're doing, how popular you are in school. When at college, they're going to want to know, what is your grade point average? And that can't lie. So what happens is when you don't put your best effort, into your academics, you cut down your options. You could be going to Harvard or Duke, but because you didn't put your best foot forward, because you took 9th grade off, because you decided you act a fool in 11th grade, but 10th grade you did pretty good. And then 12th grade, your first semester, you played around. Then your last semester, oh, I got to catch up now, I got to hurry up. But what happens is your grade point average don't just jump up from a 1.9 to a 3.5 in one semester. So now you fill out college applications, and your dreams begin to get a little smaller. Guys, I'm telling the truth to somebody in this place. At once you want to be a doctor, but now because your dreams are a little smaller, now you just want to be a nurse. There's nothing wrong with being a nurse, but there's something wrong with if you could have been a doctor. Then you go, well, my grades aren't good enough to get into this college or that college, so I'll just settle for going to community college, and now I'll just be somebody who goes around and sweeps up in the hospital. So what kills your options is your academic performance. You don't have room, young people, to drop out of school. Because the number one people that are dropping out of school is the African American young people. What are your options? What are you going to do if you drop out of school? I hope your mama ain't going to let you stay in the house. I pray that God give your mama a revelation, wisdom, and boldness that if you drop out of school to put you out. No, you cannot stay here. I'm going to get a job, mama. Yeah, you get one, but you cannot stay here. Because staying here is for those that are trying to do something with themselves while they're in transition. But since you ain't trying to do nothing, you might as well go on out there and get about 3 jobs at McDonald's, Walmart, and Burger King. All at the same time. We have to tell our young people the truth that I'm almost done about lesbianism and homosexuality. I said lesbianism first because a lot of times we talk about the homosexuality because we'll see the sissy boys and that'll be the thing that is most obvious. But one of the things we have to look at is the rise of lesbianism among among girls that look like you. Because with little girls, see, we don't really watch the little girls because they all huggy and clingy anyway. But you might want to, they got to leave the door open at night when they have sleepovers at the house. Because you might not know what's going on in their bedroom while you were sleeping. If you're a little girl, you don't need to be wearing a throwback jersey. You don't need to be wearing your pants shaggy. You don't need to have cornrows. I'm like my boy, I'm like a Money Mike on Friday After Next. You are a girl. You are a girl, you are not a boy. God made you to be beautiful. God made you to be a wife, a mother, not a lesbian. We have to tell our young boys the truth about homosexuality. We have to tell them, Paul said, receiving in themselves the recompense of their sins. That is, he says they got what they deserve.